We've all been there. A group conversation where everyone is talking over each other, sharing opinions they haven't fully thought through, and rushing to be heard. And then there's that one person, calm, observant, not jumping in to dominate the chat. You might think they're shy, uninterested, or even unintelligent, but more often than not, that quiet person is the smartest in the room. Smart people don't stay quiet because they have nothing to say. They stay quiet because they understand something most people don't. Talking less is often more powerful than talking more. Let's get one thing straight. Quiet doesn't equal weak. It doesn't mean lack of confidence or knowledge. In fact, the opposite is true. Smart people choose silence because they value quality over quantity. They know that every word they speak should have purpose. They don't waste energy on small talk that goes nowhere, on arguments that don't matter, or on proving themselves to people who won't listen. They save their words for moments when they can make a difference, when their input adds value, solves a problem, or changes the direction of a conversation. Think about the last time you were in a meeting or a group discussion. The person who talked the most probably didn't say the most important things. They rambled, repeated themselves, and often got off track. Meanwhile, the quiet person really listened. They paid attention to what everyone else was saying, picked up on subtle cues, and connected dots that others missed. When they finally spoke, their words were clear, concise, and impactful. That's the power of silence. It lets you observe, process, and respond with intention. Smart people also understand that silence protects them from mistakes. When you talk too much, you're more likely to say something you regret, something impulsive, something untrue, or something that reveals more than you intended. You might accidentally offend someone, give away information you shouldn't, or make a promise you can't keep. Silence eliminates that risk. It gives you time to think before you speak, to weigh your words, and to make sure you're saying exactly what you mean. In a world where words can be used against you, silence is a form of self-defense. Another reason smart people stay quiet is that they respect the power of listening. Most people are so focused on talking, on sharing their own thoughts and opinions, that they forget to listen. But listening is where true understanding happens. Smart people know that by listening, they learn more. They learn about other people's perspectives, their strengths and weaknesses, their hopes and fears. They gain insights that they could never get by talking alone. Listening also builds trust. When you listen to someone, you show them that their thoughts and feelings matter. That makes them more likely to listen to you when you do speak up. Let's talk about ego. A lot of people talk just to feed their ego. They want to be seen as knowledgeable, funny, or important. They need validation from others, and talking is their way of getting it. But smart people don't need that. Their confidence doesn't come from how much they talk, it comes from knowing their own worth. They don't feel the need to prove themselves to anyone. They're comfortable in their own skin, and they don't care if people think they're quiet. They know that their value isn't measured by the number of words they speak. Smart people also recognize that most conversations are not worth their energy. Think about how much time we waste on gossip, complaints, and meaningless debates. These conversations don't help us grow. They don't solve problems, and they don't bring us joy. Smart people choose to opt out. They'd rather stay quiet than engage in something that drains them. They save their energy for things that matter, for learning, for creating, for building meaningful relationships. It's also important to note that smart people don't stay quiet in all situations. There are times when they speak up, when they see injustice, when they have a solution to a problem, when they need to stand up for themselves or someone else. But they choose those moments carefully. They don't speak up just to be heard. They speak up because they have to. Their silence is a choice, not a compulsion. It's a strategic decision to use their words wisely. Let's take an example. Imagine a team working on a project. One person is talking non-stop, throwing out ideas left and right, but none of them are well thought out. They're just trying to be the center of attention. Another person is quiet, taking notes and thinking about how to make the project better. When the team hits a roadblock, the quiet person speaks up with a clear, practical solution that no one else had thought of. That's the difference between talking to be heard and talking to contribute. Smart people choose the latter. Another example, in social settings. Smart people often let others lead the conversation. They don't rush to dominate. They let people share their stories, their opinions, and their experiences. They ask questions, but they don't interrogate. They engage, but they don't take over. This makes them approachable and easy to talk to. People feel comfortable around them because they don't feel like they're competing for airtime. And in return, smart people get to learn more about the people around them. A lot of people mistake quietness for disinterest. They think that if someone isn't talking, they don't care. But that's not true. Smart people care deeply, they just don't show it through constant talking. They care about the people around them, about the problems they're facing, and about making a difference. They just choose to express that care through their actions, not their words. They'd rather do something helpful than say something helpful. Smart people also understand that silence creates space for reflection. In a world that's constantly noisy with social media, notifications, and endless conversations, it's hard to find time to think. But smart people make time. They use silence to reflect on their own thoughts and feelings, to process what they've learned, and to plan for the future. They know that reflection is key to growth. Without silence, we can't truly understand ourselves or the world around us. Let's address the myth that quiet people are lonely or isolated. That's not the case. Smart people have meaningful relationships, they just don't have superficial ones. They'd rather have a few close friends who understand them than a lot of acquaintances who don't. They value depth over breadth. And in those close relationships, they do speak up, they share their thoughts, their fears, and their dreams. But they still choose their words wisely, because they respect the people they care about. So, to sum up, smart people stay quiet not because they're shy, uninterested, or unintelligent. They stay quiet because they value quality over quantity, because they respect the power of listening, because they want to avoid mistakes, because they don't need to feed their ego, and because they save their energy for things that matter. Their silence is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's a strategic choice that lets them observe, learn, and contribute in meaningful ways. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you consider yourself a quiet person? Or do you tend to talk more in social situations? Have you ever noticed that the quietest person in the room is often the smartest? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post content about self-improvement, mindset, and human psychology, all designed to help you become the best version of yourself. Don't miss out on the next video. Subscribe now.